Welcome to the Rick Ramos Podcast, Chicago.
Boom, we're live.
Yes.
Stop the clap. Thank you, though.
Keep going.
Stop. So it is, what is today? Thursday?
Thursday.
All right. The Thursday before fight week. We fly out Sunday.
Yes.
What's going on? How you feel?
I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get there and begin the process, you know.
I do, actually. Shout out to all you reporters and you other podcast people who totally hit us up last minute when I told you guys not to hit me up last minute. No, you're not getting any more interviews. It's too much. You guys ask the same questions. I feel like none of you guys do your homework. You guys ask the same questions. How did you get into boxing? Who do you want after this? And blah, blah, blah. You guys all ask the same 5 or 6 questions. Can't do that no more. We're not going to help you build your platform when we're trying to build ours. All right. So yeah, I think, there's got to be a criteria that you approach us with. And, that's if we win or lose from now on. I don't want to help build anybody's stuff anymore. You know what I mean? Because those are the same guys who didn't always reach out when I reached out to them when we weren't doing anything, And
it's not necessarily that, we're being mean or we're picking on people, but there are people that interview us that have amazing questions and they get really in depth with parts of our journey that haven't been broadcast publicly, and they give us, an opportunity to kind of fill in those gaps that they don't know about us. And so they do their homework, and that's appreciated.
Right. Shout out to my boy, Steve Weinstein, I think it is. Steve Weinstein from Fight Media. Or Front Media, I think it is.
Yeah, Front Media.
Yeah, shout out to him because he does his homework. He's asking real questions, and I feel like, if you, I could tell in the first minute if you did your homework. If you're asking, if your information isn't if you're incorrect about when we fight, who we fighting, it's the interview's over. You know what I'm saying?
Or if you have to ask those very pertinent details.
Yeah, it's just come on, man, step your game up. So anyway, shout out to those people who were late, dragging ass. Shit. Wait, first of all, I want to say, right, for all the people who don't know me, they think oh, Rick, the sponsors reach out to me, reach out to us. Some want, both of us to be a part of stuff. Some want just Jess, some want just me, whatever. And, when I said no to a lot of people when they try to do sponsor, they're not trying to sponsor us, give us a check. They want us to wear their shit for free.
Yeah.
Dude, we've been the main event on the Zone. We've been the co-main event more than once, so it's we headline more than once. So it's come on, man. If I hate to sound like that, but god damn, we're not wearing stuff for free. We never did. We always wore our own stuff. So, I feel like, oh man, people are oh, Rick is kind of a dick. It's probably because he won those titles. No, I was a dick before. I was a dick when you know what I'm saying? I was a dick before when I had nothing because I stuck to my own game plan. I didn't because all these people were signing with this, this person or this energy drink or this water or whatever. Dude, I said no to that. Those people 20 times by the time when you got to me. Yeah. So they just thought you and I were cool, so they sent you to call me. I just, trust me, please.
Your standards have always been really high.
Yeah, I mean, we got a video game offer, and it was a very, very, I thought it was a generous offer. It was 6 figures. We turned it down because we feel that, there's a certain level to this. And you know what? If it never comes back around, it never comes back around. But I know... And I feel that you're worth a certain amount, and, we ain't hoes. So shout out to those girls who are, taking those $8,000 fights. Stupid. We just turned down 6 figures for a video game. You know what I'm saying? So understand, if you're going to say you know what you're worth, then live up to it and turn down those whack offers, because I've turned down plenty of offers.
Everything has to feel right. Everything has to be in line. if there's anything that feels off, I check with myself, make sure I know my facts. I check with him, we discuss it, and if it doesn't feel right, or if we have to bobble it, one too many times, we both know that there's something off.
For sure, without a doubt. And so, anyways, tell everyone who's listening, like, what goes on during fight week. Boom, we land in Dallas.
Land in Dallas, get to the hotel. There's an intro session. They take your temperature. Clearly, of course, there's paperwork you have to sign. There's packages they give you, just basically stuff with their name on it they want you to wear, or patches or things like that. Things you may need as an athlete. Last time in Tulsa, they handed out plastic sweatsuits because they didn't provide tubs. So I guess they decided to kind of manage that by handing out sweatsuits, which that's fine. That's cool.
Yeah, I think, I guess it bothers me when I hear like fighters banking on like a steam room, like banking on like a treadmill in the gym or a treadmill in their hotel or whatever. Like, dude, if you don't come like
prepared,
like 95% prepared, just stay home. Honestly, because when you win, you complain. When you lose, you complain. A lot of these guys are complaining, and they're getting six figures, and I don't even think they're worth that, and specifically talking about like Jojo Diaz, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's been in the game long enough. Like, you're still banking on like, steam room. Like, come on, dude. Like, you got to be at weight. And like all you guys who cut weight last second, trash.
Yeah.
Trash.
I had an interview today, and the interviewer, I think her name's Cynthia, right?
Yeah.
Cynthia Conte. She's like, I'm sure you're hungry. And I'm like, no, I'm about to go get lunch right now. Like, I don't have to starve myself. We do this weight cut process throughout the entire time we're training, and we manage it the entire time we're training. I have other females and other fighters in the gym that look up to me, and if I'm sitting here wearing plastic, they think that's the way to go. And they think that they need to wear plastic every day, and that's not healthy, and that's not how it should be. It could be easier. Just plain and simple, it can be easier than that.
Right. And, I saw, Cecilia, and I saw other fighters, they train, like, still cutting wood up in Big Bear. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? That's, like, so, like, 1980. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, that to me is cool in like, Rocky 2. Maybe in Rocky 4 when he was in Russia and they didn't have shit. But come on, man. Like, you guys who do pre-camps before camp, like, come on. Like, stop. Because you just be around your weight. If you fight at 154, float around 75 and ease your way in. I mean, you guys are, like, blowing up to 200, 210 and trying to make 154, 190, trying to make 154. It's just ridiculous. You guys chasing the weight, and then they don't focus on their technique. They don't focus on a correct game plan. It's insane how many elite fighters do it. It's crazy, actually. And, everybody wants to be around the big names, and everybody wants to be around the, the so-called big names. You don't see, like, guys like, you don't see a lot of coaches. I won't point anyone out, but you won't see coaches that are, like, promoting the fights. These big name fighters that you guys saw, like Jack, they don't even promote their own fights. They don't even like share. Like Canelo barely shares any of his upcoming fights. He'll share like the announcement, and maybe like the week of. That's it. Like 2 shares. That's it. Like I think they should work harder. I don't care if you're Canelo. I don't care if you're the guy in the corner. Like everyone in between's got to push. Like if it all ends for Canelo tomorrow, like you need every fan you can get. So like keep pushing. Like. No matter how far we get, if we get anywhere near like a Ryan Garcia or a Canelo or whatever, like I'm always gonna push, like no matter what. Like, and if I don't do it, I'm gonna hire 2 people to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, with that said, there was some good talk and there was some good statuses this week on Facebook, and I think one of the questions was, what is it with Chicago fighters? Yep. Specifically talking about Chicago. So all you other dudes, hold on a second before I get to your ass. So the question was, why is it that Chicago fighters, once they get successful, they leave? I think it, I think some of the options on some of the guesses were, well, maybe, the weather, they don't like to work out. It's
cold here.
Yeah. And, I don't remember exactly all the other stuff, but I mean, you've been here for what, 8 years?
Yes, I have. Wow, yeah.
So, like from your perspective, being a St. Louis gym person to come to Chicago, like what do you think? If you think that Chicago fighters leave or not, like what do you see? What do you think is happening?
I think it's, again, we talk about this all the time, the old school mentality, and I feel like, people will start off where they start off, and then once they make it to a certain level, either whether they actually make it to that level or they think they're at that level, they go to where it's popular to go. Mm-hmm. They go to Big Bear because Triple G went there however many years ago, or there's supposed to be something else out there that they're looking for to level up, when in actuality you just have to have the right team. It's not the location. To me, it's a team.
I agree. And you know what though, there's certain fighters who I've seen firsthand who wanted to go to Big Bear, and Chicago coaches didn't want to go. Chicago coaches wanted to stay and didn't want to leave the family, or couldn't because they have a day job and they couldn't take time off to go away and blah, blah, blah. But, maybe that's one of the issues where Chicago trainers, it starts from the top, right? So it could be a Chicago trainer doesn't do this full time. Mm-hmm. It could be a Chicago trainer might not believe in himself yet.
Take that risk.
Yeah, to take the risk to walk away from work and to do all that stuff. So, I mean, there's plenty of things that, in my opinion, that could be a factor.
I think the best reason, if someone were to give one, would be to get out of whatever negative environment they're in. If they're surrounded by things that could block their chances or block their productivity, then that could be a good reason. Not necessarily meaning that you have to go to another state. You may, I don't know, but I mean, that would probably be the best reason if someone were to get one. Yeah,
but it's like, the whole other state thing, it really irritates me. One, because we've been successful sitting tight and building our team here. We didn't feel like we brought everyone to us. And I always say, like, man, why do you go to that guy's gym or this guy's gym to spar? Bring them to you. Pay them. If you think so-and-so is that valuable, pay them. Yeah. And that's how I feel. We partnered up, in my opinion, with some of the better strength and conditioning coaches in Chicago. And, I think I'm just adding to my team, and I'm always trying to build, and I'm always looking for the next best thing too. So like at some point, if there's people in our circle who aren't doing well, we have to make sure they either get the opportunity to excel or, look elsewhere. So again, I think people in Chicago have to just get more confidence. You know what I'm saying? Because and I'm trying not to be like a dick about it, but like if you think about it, like a lot of you get a bunch of Chicago boxing guys together and all they talk about is like their famous loss, and it sucks because I'm always just like, yo, everybody's talking about, well, I was in the ring with this guy, but they lost. I was in the ring with this guy, but they lost. And everybody will say, well, at least I had balls to get in there. Listen, again, someone said this to me earlier. Oh, at least this kid got balls to go in there. Listen, balls don't pay bills. They just don't. Yeah. You have to surround yourself with smart people and people who want to see you succeed, people who know how to succeed. It doesn't necessarily, they could be businessmen. They could be, crafty, with ideas and business deals and, just creative in general. But, it sucks for me because historically I've seen everybody almost brag about their losses, and, as far as the amateur scene, the Chicago circuit, an amateur scene, you hear guys say, oh, I have 87 fights. How many times you fight out of Chicago? 4 times for nationals. How'd you do in nationals? I never won, which means if you fought 4 times in nationals, you never won nationals, chances are you probably fought 4 to 6 times, maybe less, maybe 3 to 5 times. So your national experience is little. If you have 75 fights in Chicago, chances are you fought the same 11 guys 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
That cuts down what your fights actually are.
100%. So if you have 100 fights and you fought, let's say, 15 guys 2 or 3 times. To me, like, I don't know. Like, to me personally, I think you got like 25 fights, 30 fights. So I'd rather, like, if you look at it, some of my fighters have 20 amateur fights, but only fought twice in Chicago, and 16, 18 fights were like all nationals. Mm-hmm. One junior, the junior nationals. Yep. You know, fought in different cities, fought in different, you know, areas. It's just, you know, I think being exposed to like those different styles and the different mindsets in other cities, and you win those little tournaments. If you win 10 little tournaments, you know, you fight 2-3 times in each tournament, you got 30 fights. I think that is more than getting 80 fights in your hometown.
Yeah, for sure. Even just the way that the business rolls, you learn how the fighters' meetings go. You learn how to contact certain people, and you're traveling between hotels. You're keeping track of your team. There's a lot more that you have to do when you're traveling outside of your, you know, little city for fights. And I feel like that's preparing you for the pros, and it's preparing you for the business side of things.
Yeah. So I really, really want to focus on my actual answer for this. Mm-hmm. So what I think, why I think people Chicago fighters who leave and then go on with other coaches and things like that is, you know, I feel that, like, I feel personally that, like, Chicago boxing was controlled by a certain group of people for a very, very long time. And I think those certain group of people were, like, their goals were for themselves and only for themselves. So, I mean, I would even go as far as saying I don't even think they were there for their fighters. You see what I'm saying? So, like, what does that mean, right? So, I'm saying if you and I manage, train, and promote this, you know, everyone in Chicago, we're thinking. Well, first of all, like, that's short-term thinking. So, like, if for some reason you beat everybody in Chicago and then you do get a shot on an Eddie Hearn show or whatever,
right?
You know, the contracts that you sign from local guys are so bad that, like, you never know. Like, Eddie Hearn might be like, hey, Jessica, Rick, we'll give your fighter $100,000, you know, to fight XYZ. And, you know, because of the contract you signed, the Third Party Promoter Act, which I talked about in another earlier episode, you know, or a power of attorney that you guys give promoters, you know, if they get you a fight. Like, those deals and those contracts are so bad that, like, if, you know, they say, hey, Rick and Jess, Eddie Hearn say, hey, Rick and Jess will give you $100,000 so that person can fight my guy. And we turn around and tell our fighter, hey, Eddie Hearn's giving you $25,000. It's big money. I think you can do it, you know. And that kid is like, hey, can you give me more? And we're like, let me see what I can do. Hey, yeah, he gave you $30,000. Now, we took $70,000, let's say, right? The fighter gets $30,000, and then that fighter has to pay 33% on the $30,000. He has to pay another $10,000 of the $30,000. So he's essentially giving up 80 G's, and a lot of fighters don't even know this happens. And it's that's what I mean by, like, you know, like, if I'm a local coach and you're a local promoter, and this is how you eat and this is how I eat. I mean, there's a 95% chance that we're going to work together somehow to maybe maneuver a certain kid to an opportunity that might not be the best, but I'm trying to build a relationship with a guy from, let's say, London or whatever. Uh-huh. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm the coach and I'm saying, hey, my kid's not 100% ready, but hey, Jess, you know, if you can get that kid to fight Ryan Garcia, you know, this kid will take 20 G's. I know you're offering 50. I'll tell you what, give me 40. I'll have him take 20. I'll take 20 and then hit him for his percentage and then send him on the way. Yeah. I mean, that happens all the time when you sign with, you know, not all, with certain local people. But again, to get to my point, I think that a certain group have controlled Chicago for a long time. And I feel that a certain group, that same group, like, had it, like, under control, like, had, like, where you rank, where you fight in a certain pool, in a certain tournament, in a certain this and a certain that, and maneuver guys around. And, like, you know, once I started, like, bringing this to light, you know, like, my guys don't even fight his guys anymore. Yeah. My guys haven't fought his guys in like 5 years. God bless you. So yeah, I mean, I think if anyone has evidence about what I'm saying is true, it's me. There's no way in the world if you own a gym. Let's go further. There's no way in the world if you run a tournament and I own a gym and I got 20 guys in a tournament. How is it that none of my guys fight your guys for 5 years?
After year after year. Yeah.
That's one thing. And you know, again, the powers that be in any area, in your hometown, and everybody has like, you know, the boxing guy in their hometown, you know, in their city, in their whatever. Man, listen, the first thing you should do is try to get around that guy. I knew from day one, my whole goal when I came in business was to get around him. So a lot of times you can't understand someone until you're super close to them. And then when you're close enough to them, that's when you take them out. And you have to understand that, and you have to stick to your guns and stick to your discipline and stick to all the things that you believe in. So to answer the question, I don't think that there is a lot of confident coaches in Chicago. And what I mean by that is I still think there's a presence that controls Chicago boxing. And I do think that a lot of coaches are afraid to go around to do anything and, you know, to even talk about it. This is like right now having a podcast and like having my own platform because I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say whatever I want. Like, if it wasn't for me saying anything, all of you coaches won't say a word.
Yeah.
And I haven't even dropped a name yet.
Right.
But I will say that you guys all come to me off camera and say, Rick, and this guy said, and my kid don't get a fair shake. And every time my guy fights this guy, blah, blah, blah. But you guys don't complain. You guys don't say anything. You guys are still submissive. So, you know, it's like if you're in a bad relationship and your girl keeps cheating on you and you stay, then you're an idiot. Then you get what you deserve. That's all I can tell you. Until you make the change. Eventually you got to be sick of someone cheating on you, right. And then you got to make a change.
Yeah.
So, you know, I do think so I think that some of the fighters want to get out of here because they see like the politics are so thick and so like, you know, so thick and so shady, and like this guy's working with that guy and they have a history for 35 years and, you know, this, that, and the other. And it's like, oh, he's calling the city saying that you shouldn't be working in the city. And this guy's calling the, you know, USA Boxing saying this guy's throwing exhibition shows. And listen, all these guys, I'll say this, all these same guys that I'm talking about stole ideas, stole employees, stole fighters from me. It's crazy. So I definitely want, you know, I'm sure this is going to get shared. I hope you share it because it should be brought out. And anyone who disagrees with me, I don't think anyone will disagree with me, first of all. And if you disagree with me, chances are you're the guy I'm talking about. It is what it is. I mean, it's that's serious because everybody who asked me to talk about it, you know, nobody wanted to come and talk about it. So now that I'm talking about it, if you disagree, you're the guy I'm talking about. That's it. That's it. You're the fighter I'm talking about. You're the guy I'm talking about. And my phone, 773-243-9066. Call me because I'll still tell you, yeah, I was talking about you.